About 2 minutes in. Let us begin. Hello and welcome to today's stream. I'm Professor Bodhi, aka Mr. Bonny John. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, chat, we are continuing KAIJUNE. And by continuing KAIJUNE, it's not a lot of kaiju monsters in this month. We're only doing 3, and they've been discussed before for POTEMPO, my original monster-like concept. We worked on a Cthulhu line yesterday. With Cthulhu, he's not quite finished. Okay, so what I'm hoping to do is we can illustrate and design and work on stuff today, and at some point maybe get back to him. I think I want to maybe on Thursday would be a good day to kind of go over all of the designs that I've done, because I want to stack all 3 next to each other and kind of figure out their designs a little more in context of one another. So let me say hello to our students, our beautiful audience today. Trash Inc. has made it. Monster Artist, hello. Draco, hello. And hello, Dingus Joe. Thank you guys so much for joining and being the first to join today. So we can quickly kind of go over Cthulhu and the line, which, I look at it, although, you know what? I have this green for Cthulhu. And I also kind of like the green. Let's mess around with it. What color could we use for Kong? Maybe like a red. I bought these smart light bulbs, so might as well use them. And the other lights I had were way too bright overhead, which is good for my eyes. So why don't we, let's see. Don't. Red feels good for Kong. I can get kind of a brownish color, I think. But it doesn't seem... Let's do red for Kong. And then we'll do blue for Godzilla. Hello, Jose. Welcome in. Cthulhu POTEMPO's freaking badass. Thank you. It's far from done. It's definitely going to need a lot of work, but I really like the way this line is shaping up. It's very simple. It evolves into something mysterious, and then finally something crazy. So I do want to make sure, of course, in the final design, everything kind of adds up and feels, cohesive. Even if there isn't as many obvious, consistent factors in the design. For example, it might be the color green, right? But yeah, that's the Cthulhu line over here. King Kong for today, chat. And I have an idea of what I want to do for Godzilla. We talked yesterday about certain characters or concepts of mythology that we can use for the line leading up to Godzilla. We'll talk more about it tomorrow, but potentially the Buru or the Kasai Rex, potentially the Nigerian Fire Spitter. But that's for tomorrow. Let's give King Kong the love he deserves. Godzilla trounced King Kong in today's poll, and I get it. But I do like King Kong a lot. King Kong is a very fun-spirited... I say fun-spirited, but I think he's very of the earth, right? So how about bronze or orange for POTEMPO? That's true. Red is kind of evil. It's giving me Power Ranger villains vibe. That's true. Monkey indeed. So I'm looking at my document, and I've already gotten the creatures that I want to use for the inspiration. So we're going to go one by one before we get to the mighty Kong. And the first one we're going to use isn't so much a super mythological or... he's going to be a more silly kind of local mythos kind of character. Reddit makes me... Oh, that's true, right? Scar King, for sure. That's true. But the first one that I'm going to use, because it'll be a fun line, I think. It's going to be Skunk Ape, which is again, a folklore kind of figure, kind of like Bigfoot. And then evolve into Bigfoot proper. right? Again, my take on Bigfoot. Hello, Justin. Welcome in. And then finally, King Kong. So let's start with the skunk ape. And I think this is going to be a very simple one, chat. Unless you guys know of a more fun, simple monkey. But I'm not going to make the skunk ape like this crazy big, powerful. Um, sorry, needed my tea. I'm not going to make the skunk ape like, again, this big guy who evolves into a bigger guy. I still want him to be like a cute, small first stage form, right? Give the monkey big soulless eyes. Why? Can't do that. We got to make him beloved. Every Potempo you've got to, in a very Pokemon-like way, I want to make each Pokemon counterpart of Potempo, right? In the sense that people are going to say that. Like, if Pokemon says every Pokemon should be designed to be your friend, that might be like the one thing that I want to copy for Potempo. Obviously, there are going to be plenty of nods and whatnot, but like that's just a good design philosophy, right? I watched today's direct. We can chat about that. You guys can one by one, Justin, if you want to list out all the cool stuff, we can all talk about it as we shift through. But I'm going to go right into today's prompt chat, which is again King Kong. Let's begin. Make sure you hit a like while you're here. So the skunk ape is a large and hairy human-like mythical creature purported to inhabit the forests and swamps in the southeastern United States, most notably in Florida, where I live. It is often compared to, synonymous with, or called the cousin of Bigfoot, a prominent subject within North American popular culture. All my fellas, hello Rosa, welcome in. I was disappointed with, I don't know, I gotta say, I don't even want to say admit. Welcome in our mod Seraph. What did you think of the direct today? I thought it was fantastic. I think there's like a million games that I want that I'll never get. But really solid, really great way to send the Switch out. Many dubious articles have been presented in an attempt to prove the skunk ape's existence, including anecdotal sightings, disputed photographs, yada yada yada. This is what we're going to use to kind of depict my version, and I want to lean really into the skunk part of it. Maybe I give my skunk ape a proper skunk tail, maybe a prominent white that could eventually kind of add to the silverback kind of features that I might put into King Kong. So the skunk ape is commonly described as a bipedal human or ape-like creature, approximately 5 to 7 feet tall and covered in mottled reddish brown hair. The skunk ape is often reported to be smaller in stature compared to traditional descriptions of Bigfoot from the northern United States and Canada. Its name is for its foul odor, often described as being similar to a skunk. Pokemon and Digimon announcements? Yeah. I think for sure people expected Pokemon, but I think as Rex said yesterday, let's be honest, chat, Pokemon is big enough and strong enough to get their own direct, right? Like they can get away with that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna do the skunk ape. Marvel is back. That's crazy, right? New Mario Party looks awesome. Ian, for us, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga back, first time in nearly a decade. I was freaking out. The animation and the models looked like so cute, full of life, amazing. The gameplay, the graphics, that's like a must have for me. Same with Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Yeah, the Marvel thing was just crazy to see. With all the games that they put in there too, right? It was 90% anime. No, yeah, you're not wrong. There was a ton of, and like when I see a lot of those kind of games, they all look very samey to me. But the thing is, we're going to absolutely see all those kind of games all the time in these directs because, you know, that kind of hits the vibe for a lot of Nintendo fans. I think a younger me would be more into exploring all those anime kind of games, but there are way too many for me to keep up with these days. I'm not into them as much. I used to be all into that whole shtick. Pitch Black and Stark White. That would be kind of nice. The names. Really Black and Very White. All right, how about Obsidian Black? Oh, I was going to say Pearl. And Diamond White? No, we can't say... Damn it, Pearl and Diamond. It could be... What's like a... Oh, how about this? Obsidian black and marble white. That's kind of fire. Metroid Prime 4? Bro, look, here's the thing. I want Metroid Prime 4 to play like I was gonna say Valorant. Apex. Like, I want to see Samus vaulting over, running, sliding. Could you imagine her sliding and then, you know, vaulting and all this crazy cool? I want to see the movements. And obviously, it's still very early. To me, when I saw the gameplay, it felt like it was lacking some punch. But anyway, I won't say anything. Ryoma is here. Welcome in, Ryoma. Mario Luigi looks so... Dude. I've played through all the Superstar Sagas, except I think the one with Bowser, which looked really fun. I played the one with Baby Mario and Luigi, the first two. They're so good. And the fact that the personality is still really intact, it looks so good. It looks so good. Void Black and Pure White. I think Pure White feels a little off for me, but I do like Void. Oh, Quartz White is nice too. Pitch Black and Pure White. I'm partial now to... I like Void Quartz White, right? Obsidian Black and Quartz White is cool. If we did Void Black, it would be like Void Black and... I was going to say Crystal White, so I've gone through Pearl, Diamond, and Crystal. Samus doesn't slide. That's true. To be fair, absolutely fair. She rolls. But, like, I want to see me, like, if not, I think she can still slide. Just because she rolls doesn't mean you can't not slide. You've seen her slide in other games anyway, right? Like, you can leave the rolling, you could incorporate that into battle, for sure. But you tend to see that when she's going through, like, those little gutters and little rails and, you know, tunnels and stuff. But imagine, like, sliding and strafing. Like, oh my god, I want to see... I really hope Metroid Prime 4 is going to be sick. Like, the modern day shooters, like, the feels of them, especially, like, Apex to me is one of the goated movement games. That's what I want to see Samus do. I want to destroy space pirates and, like, vault and double jump and slide, cancel, shoot, Bowser's Inside Story, yeah, it's a great one. But can she do the cha-cha? No, she can't. Chat, okay, yeah, you guys one by one will go over all the direct stuff today. I'm looking at so I'm gonna do Skunk Ape today. Skunk Ape into Bigfoot into King Kong. Copy? If you guys think of anything cooler for this first form, let me know. But I'm gonna make him a cute little baby monkey. Like, that's all I need for this first one. And then I'm gonna just combine it with a skunk element. It's gonna be simple and cute. Anyway, make sure you leave a like while you're here, and then tell me about your day. Tell me about what else you got, as far as, you know, what made you excited about today's direct, or if anything else happened. If I was to get really edgy, I'd say Infernal Black and Ethereal White. Honestly, Ethereal White seems kind of fire to me. But, like, obviously, like, the tricky thing is, you know, I remember when they announced Black and White. I'm like, the race wars are about to begin, bro. Like, you guys are tweaking for Black and White for real. I really like Obsidian Black and Quartz White, chat. I think that sounds really cool to me. And it keeps in line with a lot of the Crystal and Diamond and Pearl and all that. No Yowie. Big Smelly Feet from Middle Stage. Maybe. What is the Yowie exactly? I've heard of this thing. But if the Yowie doesn't have something that really... So it says Australian folklore. Parts of Queensland, they're known as Kinkin or as Jugabinna. Ying Dudding, Judawada, they have a lot of names. Described as bipedal, hairy, and ape-like, Yowie's feet are described as much larger. Huh. So the thing is, with the Yowie, I don't think there's anything in particular that truly I could add into its design that's not built into its name. Give the skunk monk a silver strip that go back. Well, it's not going to become a silverback gorilla, but I did mention that I'll probably be using those elements to translate into King Kong by the end. But again, it's not like a traditional Pokemon. That's it. I do have a species in mind for King Kong that I want to do. All right, I'm going to get started. So I'm going to stick with the Skunk Ape. It's kind of a fun thing to do because it is a cousin to Bigfoot. And we already have a baby monkey kind of creature, which is the first form of the Rakshasa, which was a Hindu demon that I created a line for very early on in my POTEMPO journey. Um, so, what's the idea? In what way? In what context? So, with the skunk ape, he's got to be a baby and he's got to be cute. Um, since he's got the totem head, and you know what's funny, chat, is I've been watching a lot of D&D content, and you guys know I'm really into D&D. And right now, um, everybody and their mothers are throwing it into the ring, um, as far as making their own, um, I guess you can say, not D&D clones, but their own versions of like tabletop games like that, right? And it kind of reminded me of like my whole spiel. Let's give him like a big skunk tail. Um, oh my god. Oh my god, dude, that announcement. It it was so good. I was so excited. Like, first of all, so when you see like immediately I knew it was Link underneath that hoodie. It was not a hoodie, it was like a cloak. And I'm like sitting there like, oh my freaking god, this is awesome. Um, this looks crazy. What's gonna happen? The art style obviously looks like the Link to the Past remake, and then I mean they've gotten this like kind of look down for a little while now. Even for the 3DS, you had what's it, a Link Between Worlds, and they had that kind of look, and oh my god. So for a long time, people have been wanting to play as Zelda, which you know, the main thing, right, is that we're playing as Zelda, who is, and I was like thinking about this. In reality, the series is called The Legend of Zelda, right? And the meme is like, oh, we're just, um, just playing as the wrong person, right? Um, Link has the Triforce of Courage. So with Link, he's like a smaller stature kind of hero, and he always goes up against all these big bosses. He has courage and Zelda to guide him. And Gelda? Zelda has the Triforce of Wisdom. So I really like that, this game definitely is more. I think, obviously there'll be action, but I don't think that um how do I say this? First of all, like, it's cool to see the Legend of Zelda logo with without the Master Sword. I do wish the Master Sword was replaced with um Zelda's staff. So it's kind of like her stamp on it. Now, her staff is still featured in the um right side of the logo, which is cute. Gelda, the worst. Wait, so who is? Oh no, Ganondorf and Zelda. That's it. Yeah, but where does it fit in the timeline? Yeah, people are over that kind of stuff. Like, now we're at the point where we can just simply enjoy. Um, we can just simply enjoy. This kind of looks like a frog, doesn't it? Okay, you know what? Let's add these wooden ears to the side of his mask. Um, so now we know better, it is fun to obviously figure out, um, where exactly, um, any of these games take place in the timeline, right? I like to imagine that in the POTEMPO universe that cryptids are just POTEMPOs. Yeah, pretty much. Absolutely, without a doubt. That's why there's an entire domain as of now that's like the ones that you can't explain are in that cryptid domain. Which, by the way, I haven't really sat down and kind of defined um, where many of these more later potempos I've designed, where they kind of fit. But anyway, so I know it's a strange nitpick, but I think Zelda, just for like consistency and branding, I would have liked if her staff had replaced Link's Master Sword. What's up, Jay? Welcome in. Another thing, it absolutely makes 1 billion% that her weapon is a staff, Triforce of Courage. But it could have really been cool if maybe it was like a unique staff with like a bow at the end and she could fire light bows, or maybe she casts with her bow rather than with staff. It sounds dumb, but like I'm trying to think as far as branding, right? I do think a staff makes sense for, you know, someone who wields the Triforce of Wisdom. That said, if this is the case, I want that to be a more consistent weapon. The reason why I'm saying this is because if we have something like Link's Master Sword is something that finds him every time he reincarnates, in the same way that Zelda always seems to come across her, you know, her bows and then fires light arrows. You know what I mean? You see like what I'm talking about now as far as I don't know, consistency in the lore. Right? Like why have we not ever seen this bow before? But I'm excited. It kind of looks like Mon. Yo Mon. Frogs don't have tails or necks, so it's not very frog-like. What does that mean? I mean, considering the sprite thing named Try, yeah, that's true. But I wouldn't go that far though. I wouldn't say the Triforce might not matter here. I think the Triforce is like the crux of the entire series. That there's always Ganon or Ganondorf comes and upsets the balance. So I wouldn't go that far. I'm very curious to see what happened to Link and what that battle will look like when we eventually come to rescue Link in that other kind of dimension. It is cool to see, though, that, for example, we have a game featuring Zelda. I want to see, like, it was really cool to see when we pulled back and you see her guards find her, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're like royalty. How will like the townspeople react to us, right? Like in other games, right? Like your Link, especially in Link to the Past, you kind of like land there and people are like, who is this guy? You're Princess Zelda. You know, like I think that's really exciting. So I'm excited to see how the people treat you as the princess. I'm excited to see all the stuff that we're going to be able to manipulate. I think that's really cool. But I mean, considering the sprite name, I'm not sure if my play is go. I don't think so. Oh, okay. Let me hear you. You hear me? Oh, I see. Hear me out. This might be a bit much, but a Zelda game where you play as Ganon. I'm telling you, bro. I've wanted that. Like my biggest, wildest theory for Breath of the Wild 2 before we got the awesome game that we did. I really, really was hoping, because when you look at all the mural images in Breath of the Wild, the hero that we see from, way before, long, flowing red hair. Okay? I'm like, that just screamed Ganondorf to me. Like, any reasonable person would be like, no, yeah, like, that feels like that could be Ganondorf. Um, I'm so down for, you know, continuously um changing the. I don't really like this pose. Um, for continuously changing and breaking convention, you know? And this game does that, which is exciting. So I was thinking, like, oh my god, it would be so cool to have a story where Ganondorf got to be a hero. Maybe not in the Breath of the Wild series, because that's kind of set in stone. But I would love a future game. It might be a little too on the nose doing one right after a Zelda game where she gets to be the hero. Which also, I would have been so down for Tears of the Kingdom where, Link fell into the chasm or something happened and you're playing as Zelda. Whew, that'd be really cool. But it works better for a spin-off because with a Zelda game we expect a certain level. You know what, I kind of want to give him a face paint that looks like something like this, but let's start putting colors down. I'm gonna just get the wooden kind of motif going on here. But yeah, let's see over here. Since this is the first Zelda game where you play as Zelda saving Link, we haven't seen that. Oh yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to be a mainline. I think it very well could. I don't see why Zelda couldn't, have this in a mainline game, right? Feel like she has every right to be a hero. You don't have to wield a sword to be a hero, right? And I can imagine a million timelines where Zelda, seals Ganondorf with her magic. I mean, I guess they tend to do that together, but like, you know, there's a lot of room for that kind of stuff. Okay, let's give this guy like a really big bushy skunk tail. I'm gonna have it wrapped up like this, actually. I guess maybe I could look up a squirrel tail. Or skunk tail, excuse me. I'm thinking of Squirtle when I see that tail. Both the dwarf and the demon boar king. I would love that Ganondorf in my version, it's not that you would play as the evil Ganon. I would love to do a Ganondorf who, think about it, right? Like, I don't think, and that's why I think it would be really cool. God damn it, you guys are having me build out these fandom stuff in my mind. I think it would be so sick, chat, if, think about the kind of expectations a young Gerudo male has, where like they're born every 100 years. And, we see that like all the women, they find their vo and husbands elsewhere and whatnot. So, they can still have kids and, continue the lineage of the Gerudo. But imagine the pressure that, a Gerudo male has. And that, eventually one of them will be Ganondorf, right? It's not Ganondorf every 100 years. That's too short. So in that kind of matriarchal society, I want to see like the pressure that a young male has. So could you imagine we play a game and maybe it's like, oh my god, I'm writing the story right now. Chat, ready? It's gonna be like this. It's going to be like an adult Princess Zelda. And maybe like an adult Princess Link or something. And who knows what happens to Link or Zelda. I don't want to make Link or Zelda a bad guy, but it would be crazy, chat. Hear me out. What if it was like a story where it's like an older princess, Zelda or Link, and one of the two is like, oh, we've heard news from the Gerudo people that a young boy has been born. And it's like this big event in Hyrule, right? Because this is a time of peace and prosperity. let me look up skunks while I give you my story pitch. So, what would end up happening is they go, and then the baby has like this terrifying kind of aura. Oh shit! You know what? This definitely sounds like Star Wars. So who cares? Okay, let me have this, chat. So what ends up happening is, um, Zelda goes. Zelda goes with her squire Link, right? They've kept like Hyrule peaceful and all that, and what ends up happening is they get there, and maybe like Zelda's advisor is like, Madam or Queen Zelda, like, we're here to, wish the best to the Gerudo tribe. The male has been born. It's like this big party and celebration. And then Zelda is like, or the I guess maybe the advisor, maybe he's evil. He's like, Mistress Zelda or Queen Zelda, I had a prophecy. This boy will grow up to have flaming red hair. And that same, fiery hair will meet the passion in his heart, and he will spread flames all over Hyrule. And it's like insinuated that they have to like kill him. And Link is like, no, he's a baby. We can't kill him. And then Link is like, all right, this is what we'll do. We're going to watch him grow up. And in fact, Link is like, I want to like take him under my wing, and just kind of watch him grow and see if he's a threat. And at some point, maybe like the Triforce of Power, whatever that is, whatever that might look like, is trying to corrupt him. And Link is like, no, I don't know. There's got to be some sort of cool kind of thing. All right, this is my story. All right, I think it'd be really sick. And you could, it's Zelda. You could write any story you want, Mark my words. Maybe they'll do that one day. Think of me if it ever happens, all right? What do we think of the skunk cave? I think it's pretty cute. I always kind of figured that if we ever let Zelda, it'd be a puzzle game. It makes sense, right? That she'd have a puzzle game because it's wisdom. But I think it's cool that she can still fight by using her knowledge and making these echoes. And, she's a princess. Like, she wouldn't really get her hands dirty. So I think it's cool that the staff is kind of like an extension of her and things are fighting for her, especially like when you defeat monsters, right? Everyone thought that was Ganondorf. Exactly. Like monsters, maybe a bit of skunk trip on the forehead. I just put that before seeing that. Monkey with a wooden mask makes me think of Sepik Monk. What is Sepik Monk? What are we here for if not to encourage Ganondorf fan stuff? I know, right? Thanks, Rosa. Also, POTEMPO question before I get to my workout. What are the POTEMPO design philosophies? Pokemon is some staples, so I was wondering if there are any for POTEMPO. Chat, what do you guys think? I have an answer, but for you guys who have been here, I want to kind of hear what you guys think. I've been talking about my personal philosophy, so I want to see what kind of sticks, what feels like it's made its way through, how to make it more obvious, etc., etc. Unfortunately, Ganon due to the course of Demon from Skyward Sword. That's true, but look, that's also not. It's true until it's not, right? It's up to, in the same way with comics, the writer, that you can write the story as you see fit. So for any number of reasons, you could have a story where, maybe it's Link who is, maybe the curse was broken at some point, right? Any number of things could happen. So I can have my fantasy game where I get to play a good Ganondorf, and then maybe like the bad guy of that game, maybe takes on the name Ganon, and he's like, if you're not going to be Ganon, then I will resurrect the Demon King demise, whatever bullshit story you need to write. But Ganon will always, the curse is kind of lame. Yeah, I feel like, exactly. To pretend that it would last forever is silly. versus, as we see in many fairy tales, and Zelda is not, anything but obviously a fairy tale. Or that's not how the wording. Zelda is obviously a fairy tale in its own way. Um, yeah, there could be two dwarfs. I don't think in this version I would see myself having two in this version, but you could. That's the cool part. Like whoever's writing the story could write it whatever they want, right? It could be a time traveling Ganon, and he's like trying to make sure his younger side um, isn't swayed by Link, and he's like, no, we have to grow up to become the Demon King, blah 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 blah. And it's like a story about mental struggle as it is a physical. Whatever it is, there's always fun room to always change things up. Um, let's see here. I've never played Zelda games yet, so I'm very confused. Please play a Zelda game ASAP. The boy will have flaming red hair. Looking at Natsu. He got pink hair. In reference to Ganondorf game, every villain is the hero of their own story. Very true. You can have a game where all versus shifted, have you wait for all three. Exactly. And I think it would be hard for people to stomach, and this would be unfair to Zelda. But like I think people would have like a very difficult time seeing a game where Link is the villain. So if anything, maybe Zelda and Link aren't tainted. And maybe it's like the advisor is the one who's like, oh, that little brat could never wield the Triforce of power. I'll take it for myself. And he's the bad guy, right? Maybe kind of trying to remove Ganondorf from the equation, right? And then maybe, he has his own evil demon boar version because he's like this. And it could be a cool thing where, like, we have, again, an older Link or Zelda, and they're like, we've studied these tomes, every generation. That's the cool thing about, look, I think by this point, Breath of the Wild, it's not a spoiler to talk about this. But there's a reason, and it's not a spoiler. They show it in the trailer for Tears of the Kingdom. Ganondorf being locked or held in position underneath the castle is their, way to make sure that the reincarnation is stopped in its tracks, right? Because if you slay Ganondorf, then inevitably he's going to kind of eventually break free and wreak havoc. So, the kingdom can achieve peace by keeping Ganondorf in a state of limbo. Oh my god, I sound like a fucking dork maniac. But I don't like this pose, but I'm just gonna illustrate this out just because it's going to be just a point of reference for what I want the general design to feel. Black and white, et cetera, right? Yeah. It would make sense maybe where we have this game where Zelda and Link aren't like dumbfounded, like, oh no, who would have thought the evil looking scary Gerudo man was the bad guy? Like, it happens in every game. Well, I mean, goes to show they're not racist against Gerudo people. They're like, he's an okay guy. Although King Rauru is like, you're a little sussy. But I want a game with Ganondorf, man. He's so cool. I love Ganondorf. He's one of my mains in Smash. Maybe this guy is a branch evolution that references Cyclops. No, Cyclops will be his own character, or his own POTEMPO at some point. Canon compliance is never compulsory. I like the Wood Mask Phase 5. Thank you. Sepicmon's a Digimon. But what does he look like? I figure he's a Digimon, but what does he look like? Wooden Head, 3-stage line, and based on cryptids are the main ones. Wooden Head, I mean, all stages are not necessarily 3, but we have wooden heads for the first form, right? The idea of subverting expectation and shaking up every evolution. So there is some sort of underlying connection, but it's not ever as obvious as, say, a baby Pokemon evolving into a teenager version of the Pokemon and then an adult version. That's my thing, to subvert expectation in evolution. Um, okay, so I've been very interested, says Ryoma, in the POTEMPO design philosophy too. From what I've observed, the eye style is a big tell for me. They're often big and pretty close together. I really want to hear what else. Yeah, that's probably just how I draw eyes. Um, Eyes are very important for any design. In fact, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing I gotta have big eyes, especially chat if my characters, these baby forms, I'm still trying to figure out if I want them to even be able to speak. Hell, it could be cool to have the third forms being able to speak, like Digimon. But I would like the babies to speak in like chirping and whatnot. Um, and the reason why the eyes would need to be big here is because if they can't speak and they just chirp like a baby might coo and whatnot, is that the eyes will be how they communicate, right? What they want and need. Um, and since they, don't speak, they don't really need a mouth to. Um, oh, I like this face. So I'll have to figure out more rules for, um, again, how the face paint will sit on the masks and whatnot. But design wise, I think also, my style is obviously its own thing, right? Whatever that is. But it's very heartening to hear a lot of people say that they can look at my designs and, be like, no, that's not the Sugimori style or Pokemon style. My biggest pet peeve, as I've talked about for a lot of these monster tamers that people are creating, um, I don't like when they're called something mon. Um, and I also don't like when they blatantly just rip off the Sugimori style. And they're like, the trainers are called this thing, and the creatures are this, and this, and this, and this, and blah, blah, blah. And like, everything is like, just looks like Sugimori style. And then we're not supposed to be like, okay, I'm looking at a Pokemon like. That's obvious. But then when the trainers look like the thing and they're not wielding Pokemon, but they like come. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying, Draco. Yeah, not two dwarfs, two Ganons. That's very fair. That's very fair. Um, Something I've wanted for years is a game without Link. This is kind of that, right? Where we're saving Link. So, Ophi writes, it would be cool if Ganon origin to becoming a villain was much more complex than just him being evil. Yeah, exactly. It could be really interesting just to see what it is that like makes him that way, right? I think it's kind of corny where it's like this whole curse thing kind of removes the obstacle of making him a complex character. As Jay rightfully said, obviously many villains always believe that they're the good guy, right? Like they're not going to put their time and energy and effort, their lives on the line, sacrificing the lives of their soldiers and this and that, if they didn't have a cause they truly believed in, right? Even if it is narcissistic or anything like that. Um, I don't like the treatment of this tail, but it's fine for a first pass. Um, Vati and Majora, that's true. Vati and Majora could be like a major villain that's trying to, could you imagine like in any timeline that those guys are like, I don't want to be second fiddle, I want to be the big bad, right? So, and maybe they try to wield the Triforce of Power, and maybe it's not, they don't become boars, maybe they become something else. Could you imagine Majora like on like steroids with like, if he were to have the Triforce of Power? It'd be crazy. It would look awesome. I'm gonna move the mouth. I kind of don't like that. Getting eye vibes here, which I don't hate. So less evil, more like everyone's doing what they think is right. No villains, all victims of terrible circumstance. Maybe a Legends Illustrator that finally breaks the cycle between Ganon and the same people. I don't think they'll ever do that. I think people would riot. but you know I'm not against it. Back to POTEMPO. Have you figured out what the capture device is going to be? Is it just their totem head? Dingus, I will tell you, of all the things that I've kind of been working on outside of like designs for the stream, I would say that's been the thing that I've been like consistently been the elusive ask, you know? I've been trying so hard. I kind of don't want to work on that one on stream. I think that's something I want to do on my own and figure out. But it might be worth it to design on stream. You guys tell me, is that something you guys want like, that would be very important for me to like figure out on my own. You know what I mean? I hate this guy's pose. Why did I do it like this? He was supposed to look like he's jumping, but now it looks like he's sitting. All right, the design is what's important to put on display. He's a little skunk ape. I think we can tell he's a monkey. Maybe I'll give him like a little kind of bump up here in the front. Yeah. That's cute. All right, so we'll leave it like that. That's the skunk ape. Sepik Monk is a monkey with a wooden mask and boomerang? Oh, that's crazy. The reason why I say you have monkey vibes is not because it's mischievous, it's because of the wisdom side. Oh, okay, interesting. The temple philosophy, I think, is picking up on an elemental of natural organic material. Yeah, I would say at the very least of the beginning ones. Oh, Spring! Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you so much for your dono. 750 chat. Give it up for Spring. Thank you, thank you. Love your work and your art, Bonnie. Thanks for making my work days easier to get through. Mwah, too. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you for hanging out and just being inspired with me. Too kind, too kind. That's an obvious one. I've missed a lot of streams, says Jay. Maybe the wild ones can't speak, but the ones in your party can. Oh, I like that too. I like that too, Justin. Find the laws of nature. I miss feelings where they just like, nah, I'm evil because I don't have explanation. They do have those here and there. Don't get me wrong. Here's an idea for a Metroid game. Where are there others like Ridley? Yeah, I want to see more Ridley for sure. I would watch regardless of content. Love the streams. Okay, cool. I wish this was in the art sale, the Breath of series, but I'll take what I can get. Is it just me, or does the skunk ape look like off the ground because it had a strong fart? He's like flying in the air. I don't know what kind of pose I can give him, but I'll figure it out. Skunk ape is complete. Let's do the next in the line. We're going to go to the next one. Should the feet look like hands? That's true. Well, I mean, he's a monkey, but I guess it could be something like that, right? Getting supper. It's not a bad idea to give them digits for the thing, but I also like a simplified kind of design. I don't hate that. Just because I think it would make it feel more like a monkey rather than a skunk. Also, I wonder if maybe I went with like a grayish bark. Yeah, maybe we do that. The creative fairy tale is done. He's made his own monster game. Is that true? Stop playing. Would POTEMPO be... So, as I've done in a lot of my designs, and so I guess this would be the biggest big hand instead of Bigfoot. I would say one of the biggest POTEMPO elements is the inspiration you know, like obviously I can have inspiration and, you know, utilize it, right? But I want the designs, especially as they evolve, is that it's the sum of all of its parts. So potentially the silver over here, the white streaks or stripes of the skunk will make it to like the silverback part of like a King Kong. I like to do a lot of my designs to feature um multiple you know what, if I put the mouth there, it really throws off the design a bit. um um Also, I kind of want to round his head out. And maybe he's got like a smaller opening and it kind of looks like a mouth. I think that's better. Yeah. Um, so, um, the idea would then be sum of all of its parts is a huge part of the design philosophy. Um, and oh, what was I going to say? I just had it. Oh, I just forgot it, chat. Sum of all of its parts. Back with fish sticks. It's true. It's called farm. Oh, yeah. I think I saw it today, right? I had a little idea regarding the POTEMPO designs, though it might be too much. If the line is in the middle stage, you could have the remnants of wood from their head, like they're breaking. I don't hate that at all. I've thought about that as well because it is kind of weird that the mask kind of disperses, but I have thought about it. And I think what I would simply do is when they evolve, their mask kind of glows and kind of like breaks, and that kind of starts the evolution process. No matter, like, I probably want to do like a burst evolution kind of method where like you go straight to the final form, because you know you could revert back and forth. So I did think about that so that I wouldn't have to incorporate the wooden parts into the second designs, just because for the designs where um there's only two stages, I don't want to be forced to use wood into um their design, right? um and so that's why I think the compromise, well, not compromise, is using the wooden, um it's like the wooden helmet kind of breaks or like comes off, and like that's where like the transformation kind of happens, you know. Okay, let's just leave it like this for now. I'm gonna also just kind of make your hair a little simpler. And you know what? I'm gonna also make it stripy. Like an inverted version of little hole where the neck goes. Yeah, dude, I've been thinking about that all the time. It's throwing me off big time. Take care, Jay. Have a good night. Will there be an EV like POTEMPO in the sense where you can evolve into multiple routes? I think the idea is it's more funny enough. I've been thinking about the kaiju. If at one point I start with like this kind of more what's the word? Um Amalgous design, and then it would split into King Kong, Godzilla, or Cthulhu. They would have their like own second forms and then the third. I think that'd be really cool, and that, like, you know, they feel like I can make them starters. Um it is really funny how the thing looks like a mouth. Probably because I gave him, why doesn't it, I wonder why that looks like that here on this version. Because the other POTEMPO doesn't seem to have that problem where it looks like a mouth. Could it just be because like, a monkey is more humanoid in its face? So we tend to like more easily see the mouth there? Maybe it's barking on a too similar aspect like Kimono from Wild Hearts, but maybe there's something to... I'm not familiar with any of that. Maybe it's barking on a too similar aspect like I don't know Kimono from Wild Hearts. Is it incorporating a natural aesthetic? A nature? Nature is definitely going to be a very important thing to it, but it's more like the spirit and concepts of like reincarnation and energy, things like that. What if you have his actual jaw stick out below? No, only because it's been consistent that the face is hidden, right? Like that's the most important thing. Um, Even like, for example, I wouldn't mind, yesterday's Cthulhu design, his head peaks a little bit, only because it like adds to the design, like makes it look like the cockpit of a UFO. But a mouth would give it entirely way too much. It sounds weird to like take away personality, but that's the whole point. Like the eyes are the expression, and like what's underneath is a mystery. Even though we can kind of like make out that it's a monkey. And you know what? I'm gonna make it like this. I think I do want it to just be kind of wooden. Let me just give him... No, this looks like Buddy from the monkey game where you roll around. This was a game I'm either picking the Chimera or this is my starter. What if you have this? Gotcha. Maybe the people of the world doesn't know where POTEMPO come from. That's why Professor... I would say a large number of people don't. They treat them like mythology and stuff in their own world. But there are definitely sects of people who study them and know that, like that information is there. It's been studied for a long time, but maybe lost to time, or people are scared to study them, etc., etc. At the very least, I like the idea of going in two directions for your starting village. Either your starting village is a special village that do believe in POTEMPO, and you have like a connection to them, or what I'm leaning towards is more like that they are fearful of them, and that you as a person bonding with one makes it hard for you to come back to your village because they're like, oh my god, what the hell? This goes against everything we know. We don't trust those people, or something like that. Monkey Ball, yeah, POTEMPO. Will there be a good amount of mons related to music? That's a huge part of it, Spring. The thing is, that aspect, obviously, like, if I ever got like a composer and stuff, I'd want to sit down and like, help curate the music because I love music. But it's more like POTEMPO is a... Oh, this is why. Okay, I've got to have a separating line here. But the idea is the notion of tempo is the rhythm that you and your creature get into to help reach their... It's like, if you're dancing, right? If you and your partner are dancing, you need to hit the same rhythm, right? So I like to picture that with POTEMPO, like you guys need to step in rhythm, and it's your love for them, your support for them that give them the potential to, become, in this case, this cute little creature becomes King Kong, right? A skunk ape into a Bigfoot into King Kong, right? That's the importance of the name Tempo. I would love for music to be a huge part of it. I love music. I say that and I literally set up... Well, it's not done yet, chat, but I have my first vinyl. I did a lot of research. It's kind of hard to tell. I can't see it, but I also have an audio receiver here. What I got to do is I got to jimmy a little. I got to cut like some holes in the back panels. It's just particle board, so I'm not worried about cutting into it. If I need to, I'll just cut the whole section. But it's really annoying. I built this thing over the weekend, and they ought to have figured that people are going to put a vinyl player at the top and then a receiver in the middle. So you would think they would have had cutouts for wires, right? Audio wires, or even the outlet plug for the receiver. So I got to just cut that in. I'll probably do that tomorrow, but I set the platter and I did all that kind of stuff today. So I love music. I would love like awesome audio cues and get my own, you know, think about Pokemon. Pokemon is iconic music now. Pokemon's got iconic sound effects from the Pokedex to the sound of a Pokeball opening, even capturing. So music would definitely be something huge that I would love to help curate. I'm not a musician, so do POTEMPO do the soul fighting? So the way another huge thing, and also I'm gonna just jump into Bigfoot chat. I think I've spent a little too much time on this guy. You know what? I know why the thing is throwing me off. We really do have to go big for the face, so that there isn't a room for a mouth. That's why I tend to draw the eyes so big. Again, it also works because it kind of ends up looking like an eye. Yeah, there you go. I gotta be careful because I've gotten like Trevenant vibes, even though like I'm trying to go more for like Cubone, like what's hiding underneath Cubone's skull. But obviously Trevenant with the wooden kind of thing. Maybe down the line, like I change it to porcelain masks, you know? Maybe I change it to this or that. Like it's any number of changes can, happen. It still looks like a mouth at the bottom. I guess it's the perspective. Because I've had a lot of POTEMPO and I never had this issue before. Hello, Cat. Welcome in. Bonnie with an IE. Have you ever seen the anime Blue Dragon? I know it's based off of a game. I have not seen the anime. The designs are by Akira Toriyama, by the way. Will the names be translated for other languages? You know, Arthur, I've thought about that. Because as I was like naming certain creatures, we talked about it with the Baxcalibur design that I was doing for his Gmax. You know, it was suggested like, Bonnie, maybe you should put 12 spikes on his back for a nod to King Arthur's 12 knights. But then when we looked it up, only the American name had a reference to King Arthur. So name is a very big part. It really kind of gives you insight into what the design is supposed to be. So I would trust, if this ever become a thing, I would trust like the local localizing team to kind of come up with some sick alternatives. But since we do have an audience in Brazil and other kind of places, what do you guys think? Do you guys have, for people who are not in the States, do your games... No, I don't like it. It's too big. Do the Pokemon games where you guys are from, do they have their own names? Do you feel left out when you... Not to make America like the center of the world, which Americans do all the time, but there is a reason why American media it has just so much pull. It is kind of pushed as the de facto versions quite often. Do you prefer like, oh, I wanted Pokemon with the American names, or like maybe do you think even with the American names, oh, it should be more accurate to the Japanese? Like, I want to hear that. Might have to go with forward head pose. I don't want to do that right now, but I think I mean, altogether, the pose will need to be altered one way or another. Um, for sure. It is really throwing me off, but we should definitely get to the next one, Bigfoot, so we can eventually draw Kong. Again, I think as far as King Kong, it'll be far easier to land a King Kong design than it did Cthulhu's. The Skunk Ape. Can't wait to make a video about what if Ash had a POTEMPO and all of them are done. Hell yeah. Really needs to depend on the naming scheme, which I think will mostly be portmanteaus. I think that's the best bet. I'm like thinking what the pose could look like. I hate this pose, chat. All right. Cat throwing in the dono too. Luck to you. Thank you so much. Everyone say thank you to them. Thank you for the support. Thank you to Spring as well. Spring and Cat coming in. Luck to you. Thank you. I always have trouble expressing my gratitude and whatnot. I don't feel worthy, but you help me feel like I continue with this stuff. So thank you very much. With that, we will use that to jump into Bigfoot before I keep lamenting on how much I hate this guy's pose. But his design is down. We got a monkey with skunk features, skunk ape, right? So I'll mark that down here, skunk ape. So look, when I'm looking at this right now, skunk ape, I could put those together. I don't know if I were like skunk ape, and then you make it like he's a superhero and his like stripes on his back. You see how like name could like change anything or everything about a design? So I should put a space in between skunk ape. I think the pose could be fixed with moving the legs down. You know what it is? It's also because I drew the body very forward leaning, you know? It should have been more 3/4. Oh my god, Justin, do not get me started on that. I'll say this, chat, I will be talking about that this Thursday on stream. I'll do like very light artwork on Thursday, but I want to do a whole segment on my thoughts on AI, especially in a competition setting, especially in Pokemon. I know another PokeTuber who's going to be putting out, I don't want to say what it is exactly, but a conversation of opening up discussions of how AI is affecting PokeTubers, and you know, people can enter the space, and you know, I don't want to say too much so their video can do all the talking. But all right, leaving that to the side, it is really bad. I would suggest you go check out the homegirl Cuppafee. She put out a video just a couple of days ago. I'm gonna ask her today or tomorrow if I can watch that on stream with you guys, and I kind of want to go through it, and you know, I also want to go through all the I had worked on my own design, if you remember, chat. And that was the time when I went on break because my freaking body rejected everything, and it forced me to take a break. I couldn't even lift up a pen for like months, if you remember. Bigfoot. So when it comes to Bigfoot, no, we're not doing Bigfoot. No, we are doing Bigfoot. So, okay, skunk ape, I'm moving you aside. We're gonna go to Bigfoot's Wikipedia, the famous Bigfoot, so we can kind of look at what we need to do. It's not great at all. It was really upsetting. So Sasquatch or Bigfoot? I guess I'll write Sasquatch here. Sasquatch. Bigfoot. Also commonly referred to as Sasquatch, is a large and hairy human-like mythical creature alleged by some to inhabit forests in North America, particularly in the Pacific Northwest. Bigfoot is featured in both American and Canadian folklore, and since the mid-20th century has grown into a cultural icon, permeating popular culture and becoming the subject of its own distinct subculture. The most famous picture is right here. Wow, look at the description for it. Frame 352. It's so of the 1967 Patterson Gimlin film, where the alleged filmmakers claim we're looking at a female Bigfoot. I don't know how they know that. Um, Now, is this a person in a suit? Probably. Probably. What do you guys think? Look, I'm all for cryptids. Um I love cryptids. Um so, I want to believe, but enthusiasts of Bigfoot, such as those within the pseudoscience of cryptozoology, has offered various forms of dubious evidence to prove Bigfoot's existence, including anecdotal claims, yada yada yada. So here's the description that we'll use. Sasquatch time. Bigfoot is often described as a large, muscular, bipedal human or ape-like creature covered in black, dark brown, or dark reddish hair. Anecdotal descriptions estimate a height of roughly 6 to 9 feet, a little smaller than, or rather, a little bigger than the skunk ape. With some descriptions having the creature stand as tall as 10 to 15 SOD. Some alleged observations describe Bigfoot as more human than ape, particularly in regards to the face. Multiple people in the Dalles, Oregon region filed a police report describing an overgrown ape, and one of the men claimed to have sighted a creature in the scope of his rifle, but could not bring himself to shoot it because it looked more human than animal. Common descriptions include broad shoulders, no visible neck. I think I want to use that for the design, and long arms, which many skeptics attribute to misidentification of a bear standing upright. Some alleged nighttime sightings have stated the creature's eyes glowed yellow or red. However, eyeshine is not present in humans or any other known great apes. Imagine a skunk that have rolled around in dead animals and had hung around the garbage pits. Regarding to the smell, enormous footprints for the creature are claimed to be as large as 24 inches long and 8 inches wide. Some footprint casts also have contained claw marks, making it so then, yeah, maybe it's like a bear or something, right? Bonnie with an IE. Did you ever watch The Secret Saturday? I don't know what that is. Tell me about it. Ophi writes, you know what you gotta have? Draw the iconic pose for Bigfoot. I think that's right. And chat, would it be wrong if I had made a Tangela, or not a Tangela, a Tang... What's the name? A bear ape, maybe. What's Tangela's evolved form? Is it Tangrowth? I had come up with a really fun redesign for it. Tangrowth? I forgot what name I had given it for Dex Neo. But I kind of want to use that as a base. But I think for what's the word? For the sake of what's the word, chat? We're just gonna make him a brand new design, and of course we're going to put the pose in the classic, And so I want him to have rather smaller kind of legs, but he'll have obviously massive feet. And he's gonna have like cartoony proportions. I want to be careful because I don't really want to make him super humanoid. Obviously, Bigfoot is super humanoid, so I'll probably do something like every part of him will be maybe like a Hitmonlee kind of face, right? Where maybe he doesn't have like a proper head. BB writes, hey, I need your help. Can you name a blue Pokemon? Poliwhirl. Poliwhirl is a blue Pokemon. Secret Saturdays was an action show about the mid-2000s about cryptozoology. It was funny that the main character watches the TV show The Bad Guy He Fights. Huh. Toxicroak's another great one. I love Krogan and Toxicroak for sure. Honestly, a bear-ape hybrid, I mean, that sounds like what, Bigfoot is in real life. People probably just kind of, citing something and maybe in the heat of the moment, being afraid, Let's do... Maybe I can give him like a chest, like an ape like this, so he's like a little furry. Grafton Monster? What is a Grafton Monster? Oh, wait, is that the name of the creature from Looney Tunes? If that's his chest, let's get his leg down. Big feet. Ooh, you know what? I kind of want to put Hobbit vibes into him, and I'll give him like extra feet right here. Not extra feet, like the toe. I kind of want him to have like furry. Seismitoad? That thing is ugly. I like, even the first baby form is kind of weird. I don't like the human colored face. Kind of throws me off. I like the middle form the best. Creature, what is it? I'm gonna look up Grafton Monster. Inteleon. Inteleon's, you know what? I'll say this. Inteleon has grown on me quite a bit. Oh, Grafton Monster. What the hell is this? Ew. He's cool and he's ugly. Truly a creature only its mother would love. Big dude, no head, big arms. Yeah, right? Skunk ape. Basically a swamp Bigfoot. Exactly. And that's why my skunk ape is right here. But, you know, it's not a... It's inspired. So it's not like the one we know. It's basically a little ape baby with skunk features with an awful pose that I need to fix. Welcome in, Ollie. That dude was inspired by the Grafton. Gotcha, gotcha. Same universe as Ben 10? Oh, interesting. Bonnie appreciate... Hey, listen. Hold on. I still think my redesign of him is way better than the one we got. But how do we design this Bigfoot shot? I'm trying to do the pose, the Bigfoot pose. Because I want him to be... I don't want him to be super humanoid, right? Yeah, no worries, no worries. Let's do... I kind of want... with Bigfoot. I might have to go... Okay. I don't like the legs here. So this is what we're going to do. Into a Hundun. Oh, no, I feel like the Hundun would evolve into the Grafton Monster. That's smart. The Hundun? Yeah, I like it. I like it, chat. I'm going to give him more simpler. I'm going to kind of like have him in this pose where he's like maybe caught like... I want him to have big, lanky arms. But then Kong would need even bigger... Ooh, yeah, look. We'll put the... Give him like the massive feet like right here. Thing with Pokemon like Inteleon and whatnot is their designs might not be like, I don't want to say strong visually. They're still like fun designs. I do think Cinderace and Inteleon definitely missed the mark. But I would say that it's seeing them in the context of their world is what kind of makes them a little more, I want to say tolerable. That's really mean to them. But like, you know, seeing Inteleon do spy things, you know what I mean? Like, that's what kind of goes a long way, right? Main characters, literally more than characters. Oh, I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. Let's make this Bigfoot. I kind of want him to... I don't know if I'm going to do Grafton Monster, you guys. I kind of... What if I just gave him like this big, chonky head? I'm looking at a gorilla here. And I kind of want his like face to be covered. but you would still see his face, right? And like he's still very like much kind of like this muddled mass. And so he's gonna have like the ape kind of face. He could have a big chest, but then also have it covered by fur and stuff. Mr. Gorilla, I need to see your chest. They stand on like fours, so it's hard to see their chest. They're kind of depicted with like a leathery, not depicted, but when you see it, like this guy is stinky. You mean Cinderace? Yeah, I know. I'm being silly by saying Cinderace. Apparently, there's a way that some people pronounce that name. Maybe he got a real jovial face. I'm trying to remember. Were there plans for Leeds Devil, Jersey Devil? I might do the Jersey Devil. I really want to incorporate. Oh no, not Jersey Devil or Leeds Devil. I want to do Mothman. That's one. Neat idea. Is this poses and stuff a lot like Bigfoot, but actually loves on being camera, likes to remain elusive yet fun, maybe breaking free. Always, no matter what, the second form will definitely get some sort of like the jump would always be really big because I really do want the creatures to kind of like again take off their mask, right? So I'm not sure what its entire personality is like. I think it's still I would like it to still remain a bit elusive, right? And as far as homage, and maybe it evolves into like a Kong-like entity because it is so sought after potentially, right? My main problem with Intellion is my problem with modern starters, monster designs. Yeah, the issue, I don't want to say issue, but like, because that's like a personal thing, right? Bigfoot and big hands. I'm trying to figure out, right? It's, when you have something like, um, um, gotta find a nice pose I can use. I kind of want to make him stand like a gorilla, I think. No, but then Bigfoot, the whole thing is that it's standing upwards, no? But then to see him bipedal as King Kong would be really strong. So you know what? I might just straight up make him like a traditional ape, I think. With like Bigfoot kind of a Bigfoot feel if possible. Which is obviously I want to see how big I can make his feet. Because again, it's not like I'm making this is a POTEMPO that's the version of Bigfoot. No, like it's inspired, right? The Snallygaster cryptid, you'll have to remind me once I finish this. But yeah, so the idea would be I think for this guy it could be that he's still elusive and like he grows angry once he evolves. Because people are always trying to find him or something. He's got bangs. Shall I remind you? Maybe more of a hunch. Yeah, that's. I think this right now is kind of weak, but I will for sure. Donkey Kong vibes, maybe. Ew. This looks so off. Well, I mean, it's not the worst. How do we make this an interesting design where it's not just an ape? But just to be clear on something, the Fallout version does not look like the actual. Gotcha. Yeah, you know, I guess the thing is, chat, with Bigfoot, the idea is that it is standing upward. His B pose is nasty, right? Like the idea. I mean, again, I'm not drawing Bigfoot. I'm just inspired. But still, how could we bring? Should he be standing up? He might need to be, because right now he's just a regular ape. Do I go back to the? It might have to be straight up the Bigfoot pose, chat. Let's do it. Dang it. Bigfoot. I'm gonna type in Bigfoot pose. All right, let's make this work. So he's going to be, and he's going to be like really furry. That's the whole shtick. So let's have his arm. Maybe he's got like small hands. Of the vegetable squash? Why is that? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think yeah, the pumpkin is a squash. Is that right? Let's do. Yeah, you know what? Let's give him small legs. He looks so dainty. And I'll just make him very furry. And he's gonna have the furry feet. Looks like a bird. Dark Soldiers had a pretty good Bigfoot design, although it was more Yeti. What was that guy's name? I'm gonna look him up. You're right. I think he was like white fur, right? Darkstalkers Yeti. Oh yeah, it was definitely more Yeti inspiring. Sasquatch. He's such a fun design. He's basically like uh, a Wookiee. But he does have the massive feet. Because of its name, Sasquatch, Satellite Sasquatch. Sounds like a Pokemon you should design rather than me incorporate it. So I still, you know what? Hold on. I think I like this. Let's make him maybe a little more. How do I do his? I'm gonna give Kong the big hands. You say it's dainty, but dude's called Bigfoot, not Big Leg. True, true, true. Good point. I'm gonna make his hands really small. Maybe they're just like little paws like that. And then that way Kong will have, actually he should be more hunched over, right? Now he looks like he's Naruto running. I still want to give him like the ape back. Because it could be cool what I do next. Yeah, because I still want to give him the ape face. I'm gonna give him like the large ape nostrils. Ooh, you know what? And then I could have like the silver streak from the skunk, right? Bonnie, only using ashes rivals. Who would you have on your Pokemon League? What does that mean? Bonnie only using Ash's rival. Who would you have on your Pokemon League? I don't know them well enough to put them. He's going down the catwalk. T-Rex rules large legs, small arms. That's true. Bigfoot is T-Rex coded. Well, my version. I don't like this pose, but he's getting closer. I want him to be this amalgamous kind of entity, maybe. Obviously, he should still have like a distinct silhouette, right? Let's make him really. Oh, let's do something like this. Yeah, let's bring his arm. We'll bring his arm here. That's right. Naruto running towards someone. I would jump off a cliff. If it was chasing me. You're making your own league, and you're if you're making your own league, but you can only use Ash's rivals. I know of Paul, but I wouldn't want him in my league because he's a real dickhead. From what I know, I haven't seen that stuff. Then you have. Heathcliff Comic. He's got to be, you know what? He's got to be like cutesy too, because he's the middle form. Oh, Richie. Richie from the Pokemon anime. That was like my time. He was like one of the first. He looks like he's gonna rough up someone right now. He's like in the real pose, he's looking at the viewer, the Bigfoot. So I don't know if I want to make him do that. Either way, you couldn't see his face. Oh, yet another chat, yet another design where we can't see the POTEMPO's eyes. Gary, Barry, Guzma, Gladion, Paul's the champion. Gotcha. Should I just do the traditional kind of pose? Why I oughta... Yeah, exactly. Why I oughta look an ass pose. Couldn't have said it better myself. Ooh, what if I did this? Really small. He kind of got some nice legs going on. Boy, what the? Let's make his feet really big. You got the big step. Maybe making like a hoodie with the fur, like he's trying to hide his face. Ooh, I love that. Real cuddly. Let's see. I do like that. I do want him to be furry. Let's give him. I'm gonna make. Do I give him nips? Is that legal? Now he looks like he's out of regular show. I do want to do... Okay, so the arm is two... Let's do like this. Oh. Hold on. What if it's like... I don't know why I want to do a curl like that in the front. Yeah, the simple shapes... Bro thinks he's doing like a Sonic Adventure 2 pose or something. Like, he really wish he had a nice pair of J's on right now. He's like flexing. Like, it looks like he's skating. Do I give him eyes? Maybe part of me wants to give him one eye. Like, oh, look at that. That's kind of cute. Oh, he looks scared. All right, we'll see you soon. Hold on, I kind of like this. I'm going to extend his face. Why the long face? And maybe I ought to give him, like, you know, small fangs just a little bit. Skips Mordecai Rigby. Yeah. No, you know what? I feel like I want to hide his face. I think we hide the face, chat. Oh, hold up. I kind of like this. Can he be happy? He could. He could be happy. I can't give him nips, right? Can I? Is that illegal in America? I kind of really like his super round shape at the top. Before starting with legs, chef's kiss. Yeah, you think so? I wonder if I should be playing with more perspective and stuff for the other poses. We'll see. Let's just color. You know what? Either way, let's put this down on the paper. That's just an important thing we have to do. Just for the sake of getting a design down. And then, like, with something like this, where everyone's here for, you know, King Kong, it makes me wonder if, like, for tomorrow, for example, I really designed, say, Godzilla first and then work backwards, you know? I'm not sure. I do want him to be as furry as possible. Okay, I like that. Like the big feet, obviously. Ooh, we got to get the right color. Because I don't want him to look like Donkey Kong, you know? Yeah, let's get the right color. Ooh, you know what? Maybe this shape is like very mountainous, like he's inhabiting the mountains and forests and stuff. It also kind of looks like a Christmas tree. So maybe for like the trees and whatnot, you know? Nips is in the same territory as Machem underwear, like it leaves too much attention. I wonder what I can do with this hand. I could do like a foreshortened and have that go into the backspace. Part of me, I think I need to extend this area. Should I give him long arms? No, I want King Kong to have long arms. I mean, it should still be proportionate. Let's just do it. Nerdy question, but what would Professor Bodhi say when sending out a Pokemon? I choose you, stand for battle. You know what? Since Professor Bodhi is I guess because he's like a ranger turned professor, I would think um he I don't see him as a battler because I mean he's me and I don't see myself as a battler. I'm a pacifist, I think, even though um I am a competitive person. But he could probably say something like, I need your help. Go. Lycanroc. You know, something like that. That's an interesting question. I haven't gotten something like that. Maybe he's giving us the what sign? The cool sign? Like a peace sign? Okay. I'm still kind of torn. I don't know if I want him to... You know what? Let's make his head bigger, I think. Because if I do something like this, upright, it feels like something King Kong should have. Maybe a bigger head to denote like it's a middle stage, you know? That looks like Donkey Kong now. Chad, I just made Donkey Kong, dude. Oh my god, down to the curly bit. Should I just, you know what? I'm gonna let that sit and I'm gonna start working on King Kong. Because I think that's going to help me work backwards. You know? So we'll leave Bigfoot there for now. Donkey Squatch. I know, right? So with King Kong, um, I guess there's a lot of different depictions. I'm gonna be searching right now. King Kong and its various um and another thing that I want to do, chat, is to Beeg. Um there's obviously different depictions of King Kong, and he looks a little different in his various films and whatnot. Um but it's kind of tricky when it, let's be honest, he's kind of just a large ape. So what I want to do is I want to make the focus of his design not entirely based off an ape, but like it'll have a mixture of different kind of monkeys and whatnot. The one that I want to use for his face is a mandrill. I think that color scheme is really cool and unique. Um, we don't have a Pokemon based on the mandrill. That's another thing that I feel really kind of inclined to use for that reason, you know? So I'm just going to start putting down, um, you know, kind of facial features of a mandrake. I kind of want him to also have, you know, like obviously gorilla vibes too, you know. Um, but there's beautifully colored kind of creatures. Um, and again, the main thing is we haven't quite seen him, or rather, this kind of, you know, creature in Pokemon yet. So I'll have his like fangs like this. Because I do want him to be um you know, what's the word? Um I want them to be in the vote for today, for example, Godzilla destroyed King Kong in the vote. So I want to like for sure have at least my version of King Kong and Godzilla be a little more balanced as far as looks so that people might want to go for King Kong, you know? Um, so obviously, I think a simple ape kind of pose is probably the play that I want to do. Um, but it could just be for now, like a pose where he's just standing just to kind of get the design down. Hello, Dr. Crowbar Monster Asylum. Welcome, 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 welcome. So broad shoulders. He might look like a Titan. And so he can have long, extended kind of arms. Should I try to give him a sick pose? Mandrill face, exactly right. You know what? Let's do actually... He's gonna have... I'll tilt the face this way. Godzilla the God, King Kong the Devil? No. I'm not gonna do anything. They're both respectable Titans in my take. Oh god, that looks terrifying. So I'm using this reference of King Kong and like standing up. Oh, here we go. So maybe... Yeah, something like this. I want him to like stand... Should I have him stand like a gorilla? So he's kind of like... Oh, that might look really sick. And again, this will really help if I work on this design first. It kind of helps me figure out what I should do for Bigfoot. I don't want to do something with his face here. I think having these massive, and I'll really have his like knuckles really prominent this time. Whereas the other design was all about like his feet. You know what I mean? What if you give... Ew, no, I ain't doing that. I don't like that. You guys ever remember this movie called Mighty Joe Young? Kong POTEMPO carrying his human partner? Yeah. I gotta still figure out the sizes. I was thinking about it when I got off after. I'm like, how big is it? I'm obviously inspiring them after kaiju. It doesn't mean I have to make them actual kaiju, you know? So I'm gonna try and keep that in mind when I design too. Hello, Spore. Welcome in. Welcome in. Trying to find what I can do with this pose. Maybe... Should I have like a fist? I don't know how aggro I want him to be. Or do I just straight up just illustrate and just kind of get like a simple pose? Yeah, you know what? I'll just keep it simple. Because I'm just trying to get the designs down. Same thing with Godzilla. It's not like I'm going to have him do like a crazy pose, right? I'm just going to like try and get my take on his design down. So let's go ahead and I'm going to start getting the face kind of down. He's going to look really cool though. Because again, I want him to be as visually interesting as Godzilla will be. Hello, Dingus. Welcome back. Welcome back. So let's get his face kind of done. And again, I think the strength of a design like something like this is incorporating multiple features, right? So I think I want him to have like a silverback kind of thing. Like he'll have a lot of colors. So let's get like maybe like a tuft of white like running down his back. If like my Sun Wukong guy, he doesn't have a lot of Goku features, you know? But maybe I could put Super Saiyan features here, but then I think that'd be like too much like the Rajang, right? Ooh, you know, I don't really mind his face coming kind of being like really long and like kind of like being built into it. Gonna look at the first and second. I'm currently illustrating this part, so I would just quickly kind of scrub through the back just a little bit. But there isn't much to see for the second because I kind of jumped into this one. And the reason why is because I realized I'm trying to come up with it, and I might do this with Godzilla tomorrow. I might have to design Godzilla kind of early. I'll do the first design and then design Godzilla second. Because I'm realizing I'm trying to design something for like a second stage for a creature that I don't know what's going to look like in its final stage. Right? It depends on the trio of kaiju POTEMPO. Maybe instead of all of them being aggressive looking, maybe they all have different. Yeah, ideally for sure, I would want them all to like kind of take on their own personalities, right? Like I could see the Cthulhu one being really smart and cunning. I could see this guy being like uber aggressive. And then Godzilla could just be I don't know, particularly maybe in the middle ground. And then because in POTEMPO we don't have proper typings or anything, I think something that I've really enjoyed in my designs is I don't have to like fit certain colors in, or like I can just kind of choose to do what feels right and interesting. Right? Like so imagine a massive monkey like this, monkey man. Um I get to just focus on the design, you know? That's exciting to me. Maybe all of them could have a lot of different kind of colors and stuff. Unity Primal Vibes, the show? Hell yeah. I've not seen it, but it looks really cool. Would the Bigfoot midstage have a variant that reference other Sasquatch? I mean, it could, but the thing is, the Yeti is different enough to be its own creature, right? The Yowie also is just like their version of it, so there's not like anything that in its design or how it's described is different from a Bigfoot anyway. Um, and then the skunk ape is the first form. So if there were more varieties to those different creatures, I could fold it in, but at the same time, that might just kind of muddle, excuse me, the designs of the the previous or the original inspiration. Would there be a real sense of ecology? So that's the thing. That's like one of the big questions I've been thinking about, like ecology. People really love that, say in Monster Hunter, with turf wars and stuff, and in Pokemon. But even then, say in Pokemon, right? It's not like we have a very, even in the most recent game, which was like their first open world game, right? It's not like um I guess you know what? I might have to make his head a little smaller and at the top so like we can kind of feel. Oh, late. That's okay. Welcome back. Keep looking badass. Hell yeah. And this is what I mean. You're good. You're good, Alex. Where you can kind of see that he's Kong inspired, but like he's still his own thing. Inspiration is the big thing, you know? Um, and I think he so far looks really cool. Um, and he gets to be his own person. I did. It's the first form is the skunk ape, which is really fun. Um, I want him to have like a big, strong kind of chest. You know what? I'm kind of getting Luxray vibes between the yellow and the blue and stuff. You know? Well, I guess I can give him a bigger belly. I think his fist should be red. I do like that. I do like the idea of his fist being red. It would give a lot more impact, right? It would also kind of help bounce the red of his nose and whatnot. Part of me wants to make him like screaming or roaring. But maybe that's something I'll explore down the line, right? Left arm is looking a bit funky. No worries, I'll get to it. Contributed something? Hello, Taco. Welcome in, welcome in. What's the region theme? It's not a region. It's POTEMPO, which is my own original thing. I mean, I guess to be fair, region or Pokemon or not, the theme of my world is more spiritual, a lot of Indian vibes as far as a lot of the core themes, plus a good chunk of like Indian mythology. But should flip the pose around so we can see those big red buttocks. Would be so cool to see a bloody handprint. No bloody handprints. I could see him having like a red behind, but I kind of want his hair to be kind of like white like this, and it's like flowing down like his back, so he's like a silverback, you know. That'd be really tight. Let's do. I was gonna get around to the arm, I promise. Now yeet that, just for a quick kind of placeholder. Perfect. But yeah, I think the overall world would still feel very high fantasy is the vibe, right? So with Pokemon, it's very much like a utopia kind of setting. Right? Over here in POTEMPO, it would be, you know, real world kind of problems and sense of mystery and such. Why yellow on his chest? Asks Sporezone. Because the Mandrill has yellow on his chest, and it gives a really good pop, you know? Like if I want my version of King Kong to feel interesting and exciting, I think the difference is making sure there's color on this design, right? Whereas, like, say, you said you want glow parts. Maybe. It seems like it probably will be the case. I remember, you know, we were talking about potentially electricity in his fists and whatnot, and he could be an electric specialist, you know, as far as his runic designation. Maybe they can all be like energy kind of wielders, you know? Now, again, things like the features and stuff, that will always come down to once I, you know, get the size, you know, against like the trainer and stuff. I think maybe instead of like say doubling the trainer size, maybe these guys could stand like a good 8 or like maybe 9-10 feet tall, something like that. How about glowing lightning shaped veins on his wrists in the show era in Godzilla? Yeah, I remember you saying that. It might be. Now the only thing is if I have fur down his arms, I mean, I could do something like this maybe, which would look pretty insane. And that way there's muscle on display and not just fur. And it could be like this, but which could look cool because it could mirror the kind of movement that's on this POTEMPO's face. Like the mandrill has those things, you know. Yeah, POTEMPO does exactly. They have something called domains. Domains are kind of the thing. So when I say, you know, electric kind of features, it did have access to moves that, you know, might have like electricity in their theme, but there's no real type advantages in my world. Think more like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like Yu-Gi-Oh, you can organize the monsters in different ways, but ooh, wait, maybe I can have them screeching. And for a little while, I used to think Mandrill were apes, and I realized they were just monkeys with short tail knobs. He's Gunga Ginga type. Um, he's what is his domain status? Probably, it would be cool to give the whole trio of kaiju, all of them like crypto runic. I think all three of them could have them. I like this good dude some red fur underwear. Kind of like Clark Kent Superman style, red underpants. Like a lightning rod? In what way? I kind of like more like this Super Saiyan thing I've got going for him. Let me quickly... I'm going to give him kind of like a red thing here. The thing is, for all the newcomers, you know, and I get it, you know. Thing is, I'm not looking at these designs as... understandably people come in, you know, and like think more of Pokemon, but these are POTEMPO have their own rules of designs. So with Pokemon, it's very obvious when, and that's a good thing, right? We like it for Pokemon designs where like designs feel a little more obvious, right? Like, because we need to learn what their types are, so, you know, when we go out to catch them, we don't by accident destroy them, you know. Enjoying the blue and red, me too. I think it adds a lot of pop for sure. So in Pokemon, a design where like adding like a lightning rod feature would really be smart. It would. Also, you know what, I'm going to bring this guy, I think, his head up a little more, and I'm also going to make it smaller, so that way, yeah, like you can kind of really feel his size, right? Before he just kind of felt like a regular gorilla. Now he's going to be like the kaiju that I kind of pictured him to be. So again, looking at Mandrill, they have these like yellow kind of beards and tufts on their shoulder, and it's really nice because again, it adds like a nice pop of color that I don't think people would expect to see in a King Kong inspired design, right? And that's what it is, right? Inspired. Man, this guy feels awesome already. I can just keep seeing his design getting cooler and cooler. And again, I kind of want it to like keep going down his back like a Super Saiyan. So that's the silver back part of his design. You know, there's a lot of POTEMPO have multiple inspirations, you know. You know how Kong pounds his own chest? How about those Raijin drum cymbals? No, just because that would like firmly take him into a Japanese territory, you know? it definitely feels like something Pokemon would do, which would be really cool. It would be really fitting to fit the Raijin. Like, I like where your mind's at, but that might be a little too on the nose for Potempo, you know? Because Raijin is a deity, right? I don't want to like outright. I mean, I could say that it's just a symbol that looks like it, and you know, I think that would be fine too. Exactly. Rajang is an electric monkey as well. Um, he's like he goes literally he goes or figuratively goes Spark Mandrill. Yeah, another thing. Spark Mandrill, Rajang. Um, uh, but shoulder looks like roofs of medieval Japanese towers. Yeah, I can kind of see that. It's not meant to be that. It's just kind of like just more um, layer, you know, like breaking out of the silhouette, just adding like fur. Um, but that'll be a cool thing where like, you know, design can obviously read as different ways. Obviously, it is important as the creator to make sure like the main parts of the design are readable, you know, and that he's just a big, massive, powerful monkey. Like, I don't want like a big thing as of right now, and you know, never say never. Who knows if I go back and I'm like, you know what, I want to have um types in my game, but I like the idea of obviously there's a strategic element to it, so it's not like it's a bad thing in Potempo. Like when you're forced to switch, you know, you've got like type matchups and stuff, right? But at the same time, um, I like the notion that um, you have a tempo that you like and you make your team because exactly that you like them. You don't have to be like, I need a fire type, I need a water type, I need a thunder type, and you've got to cover up these things. And, you know, I've got to have moves for this type to cover this thing. It's a lot. So to me, I'm more interested in creating awesome designs. And that's like another cool thing that I think allows me to, you know, be different from Pokemon, you know, where I don't I want you to like find the designs you like and you don't have to um you don't have to swap out the you know the creatures you make friends with because they don't fit the strategy part. You could obviously go out of your way, and I want to do strategy stuff with like domains and like maybe I'm thinking more and more like terrain is the true um way to get like strategy, you know? Um let's see. Rajang, the one master I don't like for reasons. Wow, he looks awesome. Super Saiyan. I think his legs should have some pop to them. Potentially. The thing is I like that the front half have a lot of energy and pop, and that the legs kind of fall backwards a little bit in the design because they're not the focus, right? The focus is his massive and powerful forearms, right? So by making sure that the back legs don't nearly have as much energy as the face where we're tending to look at the um the fists, we were highlighting the important parts of the design, you know. Again, this might be too much, so this is all subject to change. um I think the bolts are like a little gaudy looking right now, so whether or not all the kaiju inspired mons glow, that's still up in the air. um 'Cause now he feels kind of like a superhero. So you know what, maybe if anything, maybe the marks will be there. You know, maybe they glow for just the attack, so I won't really. Still too early to say. I kind of like that. If they kind of go down to where the fists and stuff are. I'm such a Keaton fan, but his fight sucks ass. It's very annoying to fight him. I mean, for a creature collector, that's what I'm assuming. It says strategy system is purely based on different types have different a strategy system that is purely based on different types have different advantage. No, for sure. And I love the Pokemon type system. I do think it could be simplified, and that's why originally I had like, oh, folded in a few types for this and that. Um, but yeah, I realized that when a lot of people make their own tamers, it's all kind of variations of Pokemon, which is fine. I'm not putting down any other project that go in that more traditional route. But I want it to be designed first. Um, and not like, basically, I think when people do see my POTEMPO designs, they do tell me, Bon, like this does look different from, this or that. They don't look like Pokemon, they look like their own thing, and that's what's important to me. Um, I'm trying to make my own thing where I can, right? But I'm obviously inspired by what I love, which is Pokemon and Digimon and Studio Ghibli and yada yada yada. Um, so advantages, disadvantages from the type is really fun. But I'm not saying just because I don't have types doesn't mean that there won't be strategy. Um, Obviously, finding the tempo you want is important, but you want the gameplay loop to be fun too, and that includes battling, right? Um, so don't worry, I know the importance of that. Sure. I like the long silver hair for sure. Maybe, you know what? I'll have it like the silver hair come down and it kind of looks like a tail too. Like it's just really long. It reads like a tail. Oh man, I think tomorrow's Godzilla design is gonna come out so sick. If I can make my take on King Kong like this crazy, I think a lot of potential for Godzilla. The yellow is kind of throwing me off, Chad. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna see. Because yellow is too much. That's Super Saiyan. Let me do. Let me see if I can do a thing where it just kind of like goes into a gradation of it. Yeah, something like that looks a little better. Cool. I like this a lot. Um, let's see here. If this was a game, how many Potempo can be in a battle? I mean, if it's not going to be one on one, I think it would be cool to do 3 on 3. And then you can choose how you're spending your mana. Maybe you want only 2 fully evolved creatures on the field at a time. There's still a lot to figure out for that. This might be a bit much, but if the request for Kaiju Potempo Trio based on what happened in their inspo, minus the dying, yeah, probably not, because I want it to be, you know, who they are. Like, sorry, my Potempo are their own versions and creatures. So, as far as what I'm paying homage to, like, it's mostly just in the design, right? Just like all the other mythologies I've used their mythology as inspiration, right? Like, obviously, there's a time and place where I can incorporate certain things, but yo, he looks mad sick. I gotta get his face. He kind of looks like Rafiki. Yeah, kind of, right? I like Rajan because Kieran killers just to feel their electric. Oh, yeah, well, I guess that's fair. They're annoying in fights. I find them somewhat overrated. They look okay in design appearance, not my appearance. Kind of looks like a Rafiki. The creators of one of my favorite games making a brand new series. Tell me about that. Yeah, I love today's direct. I think it was really awesome. Again, if anyone was disappointed, you more than likely overhyped it in your head. Never do that. I feel like those people do it all the time, so you gotta like learn your lesson at some point. Um, Pleasantly surprised about Mario and Luigi Superstars. That was such a exciting thing to see. So happy for that. Um, what else? Just there was just a lot of cool stuff. Like I'm happy for people. Metroid Prime 4 is a huge highlight for me. Um, I would say um what else? Remind me, chat. What else was the cool stuff? Hello, Rec. Welcome in. Have you on the background? No worries. Love making new evolutions variants. Me too. Me too, Taco. I forgot the name of the game, but you're excited. Sure. Sad to see Godzilla. Instead of yellow, make it orange or puke green. Why the balding? Um, I don't know. I feel like it gives personality. It probably won't be balding in the final one. It might be something like that. Um, I feel like that gives it interesting personality. Uh, I think people are not gonna like that, but I find something endearing about it. But it probably will be this, if anything. Yeah, let's go ahead and we'll just go ahead and do that. Never played Mario and Luigi. It's so exciting for that. I'm so excited for that. Can you tell the developer? Bruh, Alex, what are you excited? You can't tell us? Crypto was the Loveland Frogman. Pretty down low. Tell me about him. Silk Sonic, it's still not real. I know. I gotta finish the first game. I was really into it and I just kind of like slowed down at one point. Um, I think I'd have to like restart Hollow Knight just because it's been so long. Um, and POTEMPO hits hard out of the ballpark. Hell yeah! He does look really cool. I gotta say, I was like, I knew I wanted to make like a colorful version of King Kong because the mandrill is just such a beautiful specimen. But like, he just looks a lot better than I expected. I might have to make his legs just a little bigger, extend them. I do like, as I was saying, explaining the reasoning behind why they're not. I'm not gonna make them pop out because they're not, the focus. You know, I think I'm gonna make his feet gray. Obviously, I'll have to like sit down and really properly design the feet and stuff. Um, it looks really funny there. Now I'm really curious, Alex, what the game is because you don't know the developer, you don't know the name. Is this real or is this a troll? Okay. It's kind of cute. His eyes look cute. How do I make him look scary but cool? Not like a villain. It's real, I swear. I don't know. I don't know about that. Let's make his face. His face is very long, which I think is another cool thing that separates him. I might even also just change the color of this chat of like, because I do like the mandrill colors, but like if I like alter it just a little bit, it just won't look like a big mandrill, which again isn't the worst thing in the world. I'm gonna see if I can. Yeah, let's do something like this. Rafiki has been hitting the gym. I think his eyes look great. Thank you, thank you. Um, I'm gonna do, maybe what I can do is add some kind of black there, and then I want him to have like bangs like that. You know what? I'll give him like blue lips like that. And the thing is, with my first passes, they're always like tend to be a little more realistic. Once I like really figure out the size and stuff, he looks, yeah, he looks a little funky. Not like Funky Kong, but hmm. He doesn't have like a King Kong shape. Okay, let's put him next to the professor and just see what the size kind of. I think that scaling will really help me. In that case, you know what? Let me bring. He does, right? It's because it's the white hair. They look like the macaques from in Japan. Um, by having it covered with the blood of the innocents. Oh, you. Okay, let's grab Professor Bodhi and Toasty. So rather than size him up here, I'm going to bring him over here. Honestly, this isn't... I kind of like this size. Because I don't want them to be massive. They should still be... Yeah, maybe something like this feels right. And Godzilla will be like this big as well. So will Cthulhu. Here's Bigfoot, chat. Oh man, I don't really like my monkey guy I made. I see what I can do to fix him, but other than the... Remember I was saying I don't like the pose? Let's do something like this. Oh, that kind of helps. It's a little better. So the skunk ape evolves into Bigfoot. I don't want his mouth open. That's what's kind of messing that up for me. Let's see. I wonder, skunk apes are adorable. Thank you. Crossmark for Godzilla. Can you please create dinosaur dragon cryptic like Kasai Rex or Karasa? That's kind of what I have down for now. I will write down Karasa because I don't know what that is. Yeah, I'll definitely go over that stuff tomorrow for sure. Would adding scars anything to the design, maybe ecology wise similar? Maybe, yeah. But the thing is, they're still. I guess the rhyme and reason there is because they're spirits. It's not like they truly live in an ecology where they're fighting each other like that. Maybe in the other world. So I wouldn't, I wouldn't be against it entirely. But I do think scars could be a really cool thing. Like maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's more so that it's something on the chest, like an X kind of shape. But let me fix this. What I'm gonna do, chat, is So I think I know what I'm going to do on Thursday. I do want to talk about AI in the Pokemon art scene, as well as in the recent Pokedex or Pokemon card art controversy. But I will work on Bigfoot, um, as well as um, who else was it, chat? Oh, and Cthulhu as well. I'll finish up the Cthulhu design that I had started. Um, because yeah, they both need um a bit of love. So I'm at 2 hours and 30 minutes in, but it's past 9 o'clock my time, and I don't want to force the Bigfoot design, you know. Maybe make Skunk Ape's mask have the same yellow color as Kong right now. Yeah, it would probably be a callback, something like that for sure. It's a little hard to see, but I kind of do have yellow on here as well. Um, so just to maybe make it a little more noticeable. And you know, I've said it many times. So you know, new folks might not know, but I got to figure out exactly the colors of why the paint look like on a lot of these creatures, and there's going to be a lot of lore stuff for me to figure out. But I'm very excited. Also, I guess what I want to do is if I do that, I don't want white paint here because the skunks have those white kind of mark there, so it kind of looks fun there. A skunk ape, literally, but he's a baby. And then he evolves into Bigfoot, a very ugly Bigfoot, but we will get that design down on Thursday. I like a really badass. I really stand by this design. I think it's simple, yet you see the inspiration. Oh, there you go. There you go. I think I'm going to give him like blue lips. And then have this part be kind of the underbite. But again, something that I will do is, of course, give it the Bonny touch properly when I'm ready to push the passes. Because I tend to, you know, use a lot of obviously realistic references and whatnot. And then let's get some white for the teeth. Ooh, yeah. Chat, what do we think? He looks pretty good. I don't know about the blue lip for the bottom. You know what? It could be black like that, maybe. Yo. I think the skunk ape should have some bigger color pop. Maybe, but he's a skunk, so black and white feels right. I like how the color will slowly emerge over time. Remember, you're probably thinking in a very Pokemon kind of way to be like, oh, you know, it's got to line up to reach the final form. And while I'm still figuring out the look feel, and it might be more Pokemon-like when I get there, I like the direction of my work is that I want the jumps between each of the evolutions to feel pretty sizable. And if they don't necessarily like if they don't outwardly necessarily always have every element completely like visually on track, I don't think that's a bad thing. I like being able to like surprise my players, you know? Because the spirit is what's kept intact, right? A skunk ape is the cousin of Bigfoot, and the skunk ape evolves into Bigfoot, which evolves into a big ape, into King Kong. So that through line is pretty important and carries. What myths does a Karasa come from? I gotta look into that tomorrow. Serbian Burinjor, another dinosaur cryptic. Kind of good idea. Okay, yeah, I'll mark that down because I do want. So I'll write Karasa and Burinjor. The baby one can be a very ideally I want it to be like a simple and cute one. Like obviously Skunk Ape is very simple, and it works for a baby form, you know? Like I don't want to do the Kasai Rex as the baby. I could do it. Kind of feels monotone. That's fine because there'll be plenty of other characters who are colorful, and that's the variety of design. If everyone was colorful, then no one's colorful, right? Um, cool. I really like how he came out. Um, I think I'm gonna call it here. I'm gonna put my Cthulhu. So here's the Cthulhu. Um, so Cthulhu will be as big as Kong. Um, for everyone who missed that, we have the what was it? The summation snail, I believe. Then the Lukerhal, and then Cthulhu. So, oh yeah, I remembered another cryptid, Murray, a semi-aquatic T-Rex cryptid. Murray? It sounds like a regular name. Murray? I'll mark it down. But the baby one could just be a cute baby lizard, you know? Like a cute lizard cryptid or mythology, and I use that to evolve into like a middle grounding kind of one. And then Godzilla is the mythos for the final form, right? Um, so Thursday, what I'll do is Bigfoot and Cthulhu, because I have a better grasp, especially after Godzilla. I think Godzilla will be the easiest one. No, I thought Kong was going to be the easiest one. And now, to be fair, I really freaking love the way he came out. He looks so sick. Like, I might change the body up a little more. Like, it might be blue. Well, blue is cool too. Because it kind of just looks like he's got Kong's body, and then I just swapped out, you know what I mean? So it might be like red fur. Could be, oh, the red looks awesome. A lot of things I can still explore, chat. That's the exciting thing about this process. Um, I only got the first pass. Like, it's crazy to think this is just the first pass. Imagine how cool he's just gonna continue to get over time, you know? Um, I think in that case, maybe now that I have like a middle ground, or rather the beginning and the middle form, I can already kind of see what the middle stage needs to be. So I might be working on Godzilla a lot sooner into the stream than I did for Kong. The Godzilla baby should be fugly in my opinion. Red sort of looks like a man in a tank top. That's funny. But yeah, first pass is done. Very pleased with how it came out. Skunk Ape needs a little bit of love for sure. But like I said, these things take time. I really love my first and second form for the Cthulhu line. They're really fun. All right, cool. Well, chat, I'm going to call it here. We're at just past 2 hours and a half for the stream. I also did not stretch, which sucks because I'm feeling it now. I should have stretched at the hour mark and then maybe at like 2 hours. So you guys need to remind me because I'll never remind myself. Ooh, I found an error. And yeah. Tomorrow, Godzilla. Be excited, chat. It's going to be awesome. Thursday, we'll talk about Pokemon and AI art, and I'll do the leftover designs. I may not get the Godzilla, art done, or one of the lines in the art done. So if anything, I can always add whatever I don't finish to the Thursday. But I have a feeling now that I've kind of got a good grasp, and I'm going to get all 3 designs for the Godzilla line done tomorrow. But cool. Thank you so much, chat, for joining me today. I love you so much. Thank you for your support and kind words. Thank you so much to Kat and Spring today. Really appreciate your donations. It's too kind. Thank you so much. Make sure you guys leave a like. Say thank you to them in the chat. And then just in general, thank you for being here. Even, you know, just you being here is donation and just support enough. So see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful night, you guys. Make sure you like the stream, comment on the VOD afterwards. And then until next time,